Hey, a common question that we get is how do you pack your backpack? Well, I've got a brand new 60-liter shadow light right here that I am going to pack for you. Look how light that is. I love before we load them up with stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna show you how I pack my bag. One, for comfort, that's super serious. Number two, for convenience or ease of use, and number three is just so that you always remember, hey, this is where my stuff is. If you're packing your bag different every time you go out, you're always trying to find it. So get a consistent plan together. I'll show you mine, and I'm sure there's something that you can apply to your setup. Now, if you're new to the channel, we're Outdoor Vitals. My name is Tayson Whitaker. I'm the founder here, and this channel is all about getting you out on the trail more comfortably and more confidently so that you can enjoy better trips and just get out there more when you don't have those fears. Anyways, if you're interested in that, subscribe to our channel and click that bell notification. Let's dive right in. All right, so you may have heard this before, but I always put my sleeping bag down in the bottom of my pack. But I'm also lately using pack liners to make sure that everything stays dry. So I'm gonna show you how I pack this. The first thing that goes in my bag though is this sleeping bag. So a couple considerations when I'm packing the bottom of my bag. One, I want something that is more light down in the very bottom of my pack. Typically, you're gonna want some light things down here, your heaviest stuff closest to your back and in the middle of your pack, and then again, you can go into some more light stuff or ease of access stuff right here. Now, the nice thing about putting a sleeping bag in the bottom is you only need that at the end of the day. You're not pulling that back out halfway through the day, so you can kind of lock it down here permanently, which gets to the next part of what I'm gonna put down here. So things that I don't need throughout the day, and they're gonna be a little bit lighter for storage, are gonna be things like this down jacket. I'm already wearing a jacket. This is what I plan on hiking in. And until we get to our camp, I shouldn't need this down jacket. I've got my wool sleeping socks. I've got a down cap that I'm gonna be using, and then also my long johns and things. I don't think I'm gonna need any of this until I get to camp, so I'm gonna put that right on top of my sleeping bag and keep that protected from any moisture as well. So that's gonna be it for the things that I'm gonna put in this pack liner. Now, if it was to rain, I might throw some more things in there, but I'm not really planning on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this up, and we'll jump to the middle of the backpack. One thing also to note is when I'm loading the shadow light, I do like to use this zipper when I'm packing in the bottom, and then once I get through the middle stage stuff, I typically zip this all up and start loading from the top. For me, the most consistent thing is I go bag, and then I've got my tent and my sleeping pad. Typically, your sleeping pad and your tent are very dense items. They're compact, but they're gonna have a little bit of weight to them, and that's why I put them in the middle of the backpack. Having those right in the middle of your backpack, because they are dense, is the best place for load optimization. It's going to keep it up here in the middle of your back. It's above your hips and where that's coming down, so it's gonna load lift off of your back, and it's just carrying tight next to your back so that you're not gonna get too much swinging. Now, the other thing I'm gonna put in there right now is actually a little Helinox chair. Sometimes I will run this in the outside pocket if I need to get to it a lot during the day, if I know I'm gonna be stopping multiple times, because it is about 15 ounces, this particular one. But right now, I'm actually gonna put that in the middle because it is, again, pretty condensed and tight and heavy. The last things that I'm putting in the middle of my backpack are pillows. I've got a prototype pillow here, our other pillow, and this is my emergency go bag. So this is gonna have things like extra batteries, some medical supplies, and just things of that nature. And I'm gonna put that in here because they're also gonna form around the middle of this pack a little bit. All right, so I've got the middle of the pack filled up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and zip this up and we'll start loading from the top. Something that is super nice on this Shadowlight backpack is the roll top feature. This gives you good expandability. So typically, I reserve all this space for food, and that's exactly what I'm gonna put in the top. Again, you're looking for something that's a little bit lighter, a little bit more airy to go up here. If you get it too heavy up here, it's gonna wanna tilt you side to side down the trail as you move around. So I'm putting things like this in the top. Plus, I always need quick access to some of my food, right? Now, before I throw this piece in here, I'm gonna pull out one bar. I do that because I'm gonna keep that handy for on the trail. Another little pro tip for you is this is typically 1 day's worth of food for me. I have one hot meal a day, and then I typically have 1 gallon-sized Ziploc carry bag, and that's my food for a day together. So typically when I'm going out on the trail, I know I've got to have one of these and one of these for every day when I'm out on the trail. It keeps me rationed, it keeps me from overeating or under eating, and just keeps me dialed for what I know I need when I'm out on the trail. So the Shadowlight is gonna come with a removable sit pad, and I use that a lot. However, sometimes I wanna use a removable sit pad for my feet and then do other things. So this particular trip, it's gonna be colder. I'm gonna be pushing the R value of my pad, so I wanna bring a little closed cell phone pad. Now, when I'm putting this on, depending on the trip, sometimes I'm running it right here on top, and I'm throwing this adjuster up and over, and sometimes I just take it and I stuff it right down in one of these exterior pockets. Just depends on how often I might need it, because it's gonna be a little bit harder to get it in this pocket. whereas this is a little bit quicker access, but I would prefer it right here because it's just a little bit more tight and out of the way. For things like the jacket that I'm wearing or layering pieces or rain gear, depending on that situation, I'm gonna leave the top of this pack open or one of these pockets. That gives me a great place to take off a jacket and let it breathe, or if I've got a rain fly that I need to dry out throughout the day, I'm gonna put it right here. So for this trip, this is actually just gonna sit empty. All right, let's talk about some stuff that I typically like quick access to. Namely, this is my GPS device. I'm gonna tuck that in this upper pocket right here. Gloves is another one, and a face mask. It's gonna be a little bit colder out there, so I like to have quicker access to that. And so I'm gonna tuck those right here in the top of this pocket. Now, the other thing that I like to have quick access to is, well, I won't say why, but I do like it handy. On the Shadow Light pack right here, you're actually gonna be able to just snug this up. Now, this is a light level of compression. You're not really like gonna crank down on these, but it helps seal things into this pocket so that it doesn't come back out and gives you a little bit more compression on the top of the bag. Now, coming over here, typically I like to throw my cook system into this pocket and my alcohol, and then I'm just gonna re-snug this up. Okay, so that only leaves the goodies that I want. Very, very handy. On the bottom of the pack here, you have two large hip belt pockets with a key clip. So once I hit the trail, I always clip in my keys, and then I pick which pocket I want easier access to. Now, I'm right-handed, so I typically take the right pocket and I put the stuff in I'm gonna need more frequently. But a headlamp is something I'm typically only using at night, so I'm gonna put that in my left side pocket here. A lighter, typically I'm only gonna need at camp. And then typically something like my sunglasses, I'm gonna put in here as well, because I'm typically pulling them out once or twice a day and leaving them out. But I'll slide all that in here and move to the other side. Now on this right side, sometimes I put my cell phone in here because it is big enough to fit a full-size smartphone. But for the sake of this one, I'm gonna put in my goodies and something like sunscreen and chapstick into this pocket and zip that back up. I did forget to throw this in here. Typically I'm throwing this in this back pocket somewhere just because it's an easy place to store it with how long that is, and I always want to know where that's at. If I put it inside my main compartment, I typically lose it. So that rides back here in one of these pockets. All right, and last but not least, I put my water right here. Now there is a lot of space in here. You could throw a tripod, trekking pole, another smaller water bottle, but that is gonna hold it nice and tight against your back and low so that it's not up here pulling you side to side. Not typically using these, but if you wanted to, you can throw trekking poles on here. There's different configurations. You can figure out how to do this, Dan. Anyways, that's how I'm gonna do it for this one. You just slide those in there, cinch that down on the top. But if you've got snow baskets on, or if your trekking poles are different size, you can fiddle around with this and get your trekking poles to sit right there. All right, so that's how I load my backpack. That's how I load it every single time, which keeps me consistent, which lets me know when I need that headlamp, I always know where it is, or I need that spoon, I always know it's right here in this outside pocket. It makes it really convenient, and it's very comfortable on the trail, especially in the shadow light. So if you found any value from this video, make sure you click like, comment down below if you have questions, or if you do things a different way, make sure you're subscribed, and we will see you on the next video.